In this video, we're going to look at the basics of cropping and editing your final artwork picture. The importance of this is so that you can get the best possible contrast and lighting. When you do take a picture, sometimes it tries to automatically adjust the lighting, and it could take away from the depth or the contrast, such as this picture. It's a lot more on the lighter side in this image versus the actual drawing, where the background is a lot darker and the darks are, or the shadows are a little bit darker as well. So really important to get the best possible artwork result that you can. But to get started, we're going to crop. So the crop is found on the left side of Photoshop over here. I'm going to click on that. It's the fourth tool down. And I'm just going to trim the edges. If you did take your picture at an angle and when you go to crop it, it cuts out too much because it's not straightened, you can also click this little straighten button here, and what you'll do is click and drag across at the angle that you want it, or you can just simply hover over the top here and rotate. I'm going to cancel that and go back to cropping my picture. Now I'm going to make sure that this box at the top is unchecked that says delete cropped pixels. If this is checked and you hit enter and you crop your image, it's going to delete everything on the outside, and then if you later realize you want to fix what you cropped, it's not going to let you. So keep that unchecked, and I'm going to hit enter or hit the little check at the top. And I did realize I missed a little bit there, so I'm going to go back and take a little bit off of the left and hit the check now. So the first thing I'm going to edit after the cropping is the levels, and this is going to help with the highlights and shadows. So I'm going to go to Layer, and then New Adjustment Layer at the top, and hit Levels, and then OK. And I'm going to keep it set to RGB, but if you did have colors in your image, so if it's a painting or something else in the future, you can go color by color to correct that. And I'm going to hold down Option and start to bring this over. Now as I slide this, this is showing me everywhere that's going to be completely black in the drawing. So you don't want too much shadow, so I'm just going to bring a little bit in there so that just a little bit of the hair is completely black or completely in shadow, so you can see this area here that's the darkest. And then I'm going to bring those highlights out as well. So whatever color shows up or area that shows up in color on the screen is what's going to be completely white in your drawing. So I'm just going to slide that a little bit so that just this front part of the forehead here is white. I'm going to close out, and you can click to see before and after. So it's starting to get there. It's starting to really show a lot more contrast. Just remember to be careful to not overdo it. So if you feel like it is too much, but you still want a little bit of the levels, what you can do is come over to the opacity on the layers panel here, and when you have levels selected, you can lower the opacity, so it's not going to be as much of that specific edit. But I'm going to leave that to 100%, and then go back to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and now I'm going to do Brightness and Contrast. So I'm hitting OK. Now brightness is going to affect the brightness overall, so it's going to lighten the shadows as well. So that's something you want to be careful with because you do want to keep those shadows, but mine is more again on the bright side than what the actual drawing is. So I'm going to bring some of the brightness down a bit. And then contrast is going to make my shadows darker and my highlights lighter. So I'm just sliding this back and forth to kind of see what's going to look the best here. I don't want too much contrast, but I'm going to leave it somewhere around there and then close out when I'm done. And same thing, you can click to hide it to see before and after, and you can lower the opacity of it if you feel like it's too much. A few more edits you can do is Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and Curves. And this one is where you're able to kind of automatically adjust things yourself and go in and kind of see what it's going to look like. Anything above this line in the middle is highlights, anything below is shadows. So usually with this you want to bring the highlights up a little bit and the shadows down a bit. And I'm going to bring the shadows down quite a bit here to really increase that contrast and bring those highlights up. and then close out of it. Now that might be too much, so I'm going to bring that down just a little bit like that. So once you feel like you're happy with how it looks, you can do File, Save As. I would save it as a JPEG instead of Photoshop format if you're ready to submit and turn it in. So I'm just clicking JPEG and then I'll hit Save. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. There we go, save.